Hello, clever people, and welcome to my review for Ad Astra. So Ad Astra is a movie starring Brad Pitt as well as Ruth Negga, Tommy Lee Jones, Liv Tyler. It's a very big cast, and it follows the story of a man who is kind of a lone wolf who is sent into space in search of his own father, who went on a mission to Neptune about 30 years ago and has not been seen or heard of since. But there are surges going on, and in order to investigate it, he is sent to go find his father at Neptune. So Ad Astra is a movie that I have tentative feelings for, mostly because I thought that the trailers looked kind of pretentious at first, and the director I'm not really a big fan of. The only other movie I've seen from him is The Lost City of Z. But what I remember so distinctly about The Lost City of Z is that it was a movie with great potential that I think the director ruined. I thought that it was a very rich story that the director took in the least effective way possible. And I was tentative about that, but early reviews for Ad Astra were really good. I'm also a sucker for space movies, so I was looking forward to this. And unfortunately, Ad Astra disappointed me greatly. There's a lot of people online saying this is a fantastic movie. There's a lot of people saying it's one of the best movies of the year. And honestly, I know I'm in the minority when it comes to the fact that I don't think that this movie was all that great. And I understand that. And I understand that most people should still go out and see this movie if they like space movies. My problems with the movie, I think, just have to do with the way that I dislike the director's style. James Gray is what I believe his name is, and my problem with him is that he never truly defines what style he wants. I believe that when it comes to style in a movie, at least the type of style I'm talking about, it's kind of like a spectrum. Or on one end, it's very constructed, very Hollywoodized type of movie, and on one end, it's very experimental and strange, like a lot of Andrei Tarkovsky movies. And the problem with James Gray is that he never knows exactly where he wants to land. And this movie is a great example of that. On one end, it's supposed to be quiet and meditative and about the lead character and a slow-moving character study that proves to be fascinating. And then on the other end, there's a lot of really Hollywoodized scenes in this movie that completely take away from any effect that could possibly have. My other problem is the narration in this movie was atrocious. It was absolutely terrible. And a lot of people actually liked it. So again, I'm in the minority. But my problem with the narration is that the director seemed to be very lazy in the fact that he did not want to represent anything visually. I believe narration is completely fine as long as the visuals on the screen are telling just as much of a story as the narration is. It's not the narration is explaining a character's thoughts. It's not explaining what is happening or explaining what has happened during a certain amount of time. Narration should serve to further enhance what is going on visually, because film at a basis is about visuals. And unfortunately, what James Gray decides to do is have every single a character decision and every single character emotion expressed through narration rather than action, so that it ended up being that the lead character in this movie was extremely boring. And I understand that the point of this movie is that the lead character is very calm, he's very collected, and he never freaks out. He's a very smooth, honestly, somewhat boring guy. In all honesty, that's kind of the way that this character was written. And I think it's fine if you write characters like that as long as the style of the film, getting back to style, as long as that fits the main character and their inner thoughts. And unfortunately in this movie, it absolutely did not. There are quite a few positives about this movie though. The space scenes are absolutely stunning. They look terrific. I loved the way that they were shot. There's a lot of shots in this movie that I would consider like background of a computer level good. And also the performances are pretty strong. Again, performances are limited by the strength of a director, and I personally don't think that James Gray is a very strong director. So I believe that Brad Pitt ended up giving a good performance that could have been a lot better if handled by another director. But still, I think that this is an okay movie. My biggest problem is that it has no lasting impact, and that's exactly what it's supposed to have. A movie like this should be completely cathartic. You should leave the movie feeling like you've just experienced something amazing and something epic and something beautiful. And unfortunately, that's not what this is. And I've seen a lot of people who like this movie online say that people are going to dislike it because it's not a big space epic with a lot of action. And to that I say, that's not the reason that at least I dislike this movie. It's not because there's not action in this movie, and it's not because this movie is slow paced. I love slow paced space movies. I love Interstellar. I love Solaris. I love 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think slow moving space movies, in all honesty, are some of the most cathartic films ever made. My problem is that this movie never decides to go the full distance to try to make as cathartic of an experience as possible. And because of that, Ad Astra ended up being a massive disappointment to me. The movie is okay. It has some decent scenes in it. It has some decent cinematography, some okay performances. But in the end, the director weighs this movie down to be a much lesser version of what it could be. I will give Ad Astra a 5 out of 10. Alright, that concludes my review for Ad Astra. So, what are your thoughts on this film, or what is your favorite space movie? Comment in the comment section below, and let me know. I'm Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.